All right, hi everybody, and welcome to Tea and Talking. My name is Amy,
My name is Kelly.
and today we're going to be talking about the pretty much like everyday lifestyles and health wise, just for us and what we see it as in the media wise. Okay.
And today our question is going to be, what is healthy and what does healthy lifestyle mean to us?
Mhm.
Okay.
So for now, let's just branch this out and just talk about the young versus adult type lifestyle for now, just generalities. Because isn't it true how when you're a kid, you don't really make your own lifestyle choices. It's just parental choice, right?
Mhm. Yeah, because you can't really buy your own groceries. You don't know how to cook. You don't even know how to shop for things. I didn't know what avocados were. Yeah, a lot of it is based on what your parents buy for you, and it may or may not be necessarily healthy, but
Yeah.
that's not like a choice that you could really make for yourself.
Yes, that is very, very true. And then as an adult, you definitely have to make your own choices, and it's very hard to do that.
Without the proper guidance.
Yeah, without the proper guidance, like, because when you're a kid, like I said, your parents choose for you, but then as an adult, it's like you're just thrown into the world, and you're like, okay, what do I do with my life now? And so, like, you often see that, like, when you see your friends from years ago, you're like, oh wow, like you look great, or
Yeah,
what
but
happened?
we also have so many resources now because we can kind of pick and choose
Yeah.
what to follow. There's so many guides online. There's so many personal trainers that have YouTube channels. There's a lot of nutritionists, and everybody has a voice on the platform, including us, because we're making this video.
Yes.
And so based on that, you can kind of pick and choose who you want to listen to and what fits your lifestyle. And there's so many people with so many different opinions, and there's so many different lifestyle choices like keto, vegan.
Oh, the different
vegetarian.
diets and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many diets out there. There's so many fads. People still argue whether or not lifting weights is even a good thing, or just using pure body weight.
Yeah, very polarizing thing.
Yeah.
So there's so many opinions out there, and I feel like there aren't any wrong answers, like based on what I'm seeing from educated people. So there's so many different things we can do and we can learn from. So yeah, that's just entirely up to us and what we want.
So I guess let's go into what we define as, I guess, what is healthy, right? So we can all assume that there's not one perfect image of what is ideal, if you will.
Yep.
There, like I said, there's like the bodybuilders, you have the power lifters, you have the CrossFit trainers, and then you have people that just strictly eat healthy and don't work out, which is totally fine because it's more medical wise. Then you have
people that need to diet a certain way for medical reasons.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So that's why I'm saying it's not one ideal body type or one health, like one way is the correct way. That's completely not it. Everyone has their own choice.
Or even if you would look at your body type and if that's even relevant in determining whether you're healthy or not. Like, some people think that it's all about how you look, and some people think it's all about how you are strong versus, you're not strong.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, like vanity definitely plays into it because, there are some people, which isn't bad, but there are some people that choose to exercise a certain way because they want that toned body. Or, like, if you look at law enforcement or firefighters, some people are like, oh, they're fat. And it's like, well, some maybe are, but a lot of the cases, it's kind of like the farmers too. It's not that they're fat or anything, but it's just they have so much muscle mass because of just the everyday things that they do. It requires so much muscle that you don't see toned bodies. It's just, they could throw you over the edge, you know what I mean?
And Amy, what did because I remember that you told me that being toned, like being strong, is working out and becoming more like working out your strength, doing weightlifting, doing muscle exercises, but strength training is different from actually becoming lean and toned. And you told me that being toned, it starts in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, that is true. Like, people always ask me this too. Because I may not be completely fit. Like, I'm not going to talk about my lifestyle quite yet, but some people have asked me, like, oh, what do I do to get toned? And they always come to me because I've always been an athlete my entire life. I'm not going to go into my sport quite yet, maybe in a different video, but I've always been an athlete. So they'll ask me, like, oh, Amy, you're fit, but why are you not toned? And I always respond to this as, because I don't eat completely healthy. Like, honestly, when it comes down to it, if you really want that toned body, and it is true, you do gotta limit your food choices. It really is coming down to it. And I'm not an expert by a long shot, but from what athletic trainers have told me in the past, and this is, once again, this is not me, this is athletic trainers, what they have told me is abs are made in the kitchen. Toned bodies are made in the kitchen. So you just have to eat right consistently. And that's when you hear about people doing like the macros and the micro foods. And then you even have your diet fads where like you have the keto and all of that. It really is made in the kitchen. But we could talk about it another time, but that's always an interesting thing. I love talking about that stuff. That's fun. I don't know if you guys knew in other videos, but I'm actually biracial. So my father is American. If we're talking about heritage, he's Irish. And then my mom is full-blown Puerto Rican. So growing up, I would always have Puerto Rican food because sadly, my dad didn't really cook back then. It was mainly my mom that cooked everything. And if you don't know how Puerto Ricans eat, it's just straight fried foods. It's like arroz con habichuelas, so like rice and beans, and like rice and chicken, rice and beef, rice and pork. There's always rice and something. And then you have the plátanos or tostones, and then you have even the desserts like the guayabo con queso, which is cheese and what is the English? How do you say guava? Guava. Sorry. I forgot. So it's guava.
You got me scared for a second. Like, oh my god, I don't know either. But
believe it or not, sometimes Kelly definitely has her Hispanic card because she keeps up with me when I talk about Spanish things, and even when I say things in Spanish, she understands. My Spanish is very broken, but
I'm gonna take the card and I'm gonna keep it forever in my pocket right here. With your family, like when your mom cooked for you, how does she balance your diet? And essentially when she feeds you guys, what's off the table? Is there anything that's kind of off the table, or like how does she see nutrition?
Oh gosh, no, my mom does. I'm sorry, Mom, I love you so much. I love you. But she does not have any sort of what's off the table. She will drink soda, she'll drink Corona, she'll drink whatever she wants, she'll eat whatever she wants. That woman has the greatest body because God gave her a gift because she can eat whatever she wants and that girl will stay small. So it's always funny. So growing up, she would not care about what we eat. We can literally eat whatever you want. But luckily for me, because I was such an active kid, just in general, from switching over to being... Actually, I have no way of saying that. From being a NARP to an athlete. If a NARP is a non-athletic regular person, I don't mean that in a bad way, but from transitioning, I don't even know if I should actually say that right now.
It's okay.
But anyways, my mom didn't care at all about what we ate or what we did. We had no restrictions.
That's funny, because you guys are so healthy, but like it just so happened that you were very athletic and you just minded what you ate eventually, and you just kind of took care of yourself, and now you're really healthy, you're really strong.
Yes.
I mean, some things happened here and there, but those weren't within your control, and your body was still resilient through all of it, and a lot of it was based on nutrition, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know, how was it for your household? Like, I don't even know, like, in a Chinese household, like, I know that your parents didn't cook a lot, right?
Yeah, so typically with Chinese families, they do cook a lot. My mom and dad, they weren't really like that, but my grandparents, they cooked a lot. And not necessarily everything was healthy. There was a lot of sugar, a lot of fried foods. Mm-hmm. But after my grandparents moved back to China, it was kind of just my mom and dad, and my mom was the one that really took hold of the household, and your mom, she did a lot of the cooking, and she did like what she could here and there, but and she was the one that took care of all the groceries. So with my mom, she was really strict, and I mean, like, as soon as we could afford it, because we couldn't always afford it, as soon as we could afford it, we ate everything organic, and if it wasn't organic, it wasn't within reach,
right?
In my household, at least. And she would say, like, oh, you can't drink this milk, it's not organic. Oh yeah, she made me drink milk, and she said that it would make me grow tall, but I kept telling her, dude, I'm lactose intolerant. She wouldn't let me drink soda, she wouldn't let me eat candy, and she really limited the things that I could do. As soon as she found out like Monster Energy was bad, no more of that, and she just kind of took all of that away as she was learning.
We had completely different lifestyles.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like she wouldn't let me try these things. She would kind of let me try them here and there, like McDonald's, and because she was learning. like as the time goes on. So she was taking things away
So
as she was
getting
finding
more
it
and more
out.
health conscious.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I was kind of with her during that whole process, and yeah.
Wow.
I mean, to this day, it really did affect how I am, because like to this day, I don't really drink soda. Even though my fridge, if you look at it now, it's full of soda. It's not for me, it's for my guests. So, and like ice cream, I can keep it in the freezer, and I'm not going to just like plow through a whole crate of it by myself.
You know, today I definitely don't do a lot of those things either. Like, I definitely don't eat as much fried foods today. I still cook Puerto Rican food. I love Puerto Rican food. My cousins actually have a restaurant, and our entire family still stays with tradition, if you will. But at the same time, I've incorporated healthier foods, and I've just experimented because just as an athlete, I had to be health conscious. Not because I wanted to. Like, now I'm retired from sports, so now it's just my personal choice. But at that time, I had to be somewhat strict. And then you guys may have seen it in another video, like me explaining how I was sick for a couple years. That also forced me to be health conscious about the things that, I don't know, just even going out to eat, like what I had, things I drank.
Yeah, it really restricted you, and it kind of forced you
Yeah.
to be healthy just so that you can let yourself heal.
Yes, exactly.
Survive.
And I don't know about you guys, but when I was young, like I'm saying, like when I turned 21 and we were able to finally start drinking, I still wasn't really a heavy drinker. Because as an athlete, when you drink, it just weakens your muscles. And I know how there are some athletes, they'll go out and party and do whatever. Like, shout out to like all these other sports like football, basketball, soccer, like even the track athletes. I've seen Kenyans and Nigerians drink, and they could hold their own. So shout out, guys. But seriously, I cannot follow up with that lifestyle. It just was not me. And I started understanding my body, and that was the big thing, is understanding it.
And I do wonder what portion of it is genetic and what portion of it is our culture. And then out of all of that, what remains? Would it be our choices?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Because that is true. Now that I think about it, it's like, what have we instilled from our own culture
and also
to what we do now?
And what did we get away with based on our like good genes, or what do we have to remedy based on our bad genes? Like for me, I got high blood sugar and high blood pressure. It kind of runs in my family.
Right.
So I have to be more mindful of things. And it was weird because back then I was skinnier and I weighed less, and people thought I was more fit, but I wasn't. I was extremely unhealthy, and nobody could really see it, but except for my doctor, of course. Yeah.
I mean, I guess there are definitely genes to it. Because when I was younger, same thing, like I was able to eat whatever I wanted, and then I started realizing that, hey, we're getting older, that's not the case. Like, I'm not gonna call out names, but I remember one teacher in high school, she, you might know who I'm talking about, she ran marathons, and she would always tell us, like, guys, like, really try and eat healthy, and we wouldn't listen to her. And I remember no one cared and stuff like that. She was a biology teacher. She would see like kids in class like eating snacks like Cheetos and like bags of chips and stuff like that. And she would always be like, guys, eat healthy. Yeah. Because after you turn 30, your body's not going to act the same way. And we're not quite 30, but we're almost. And it's very true how our bodies are changing. And yeah.
And she,
young versus adult, man.
When I was with her in Europe, when we were traveling, she would always say like, oh, by the way, we were not allowed to drink, obviously, because none of us were 21. And she would just say to us, why would you drink when you can spend this time to travel? And why would you stay out all night when you can get a good night's sleep so you can wake up early and see the sunrise? And
that is so true.
That was really important to me. And then like later on, when we were kind of in the middle of the trip, she would tell us, oh, you got to climb that tower. I'm going to do it. And you guys all have to come with me because you're my students. So we're all going to climb that tower. And at that time, I was just like, wow, are they going to do it? And everyone ended up doing it. And everyone had such a great time. And she really pushed us. Like, she really, really pushed us.
Yeah, like, that's actually
a lot. It was a lot, but it was good. It was good. It really helped me understand that, you got to train yourself, discipline. So that kind of brings us to our first question. Amy, what do you define as healthy? If you had to just simplify it and make it personal, What makes a person healthy? What makes you healthy?
I don't know. Like I said earlier, though, it's not quite one thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're talking about, are you talking about the goals or just in general, like defining the health?
Like for some people, they define health by looking at someone and seeing a certain figure. What do you think?
Okay.
Or like seeing somebody like fireman pick up something really heavy and be like, okay, that's fit, that's healthy.
Yeah, that is very true. I guess that the latter is mine. Because
Figured, yeah.
yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but my dad is definitely, he's the all-American. Like he loves going out and enjoying the garden, and we also have family that live in upstate New York, and they have their own farm, and I always looked up to them in terms of strength. So in terms of, I might be going off on a tangent, but whenever I had a crush on a guy, I would always think like, I would always go for like the chubbier looking person. And believe it or not the muscular side.
Chubby or burly though?
Yeah, I guess burly. Yeah, I guess burly. But it's because...
Okay, I feel bad now because now I
No, I know.
I said something wrong.
Yeah, no, it's
Chubby
okay. It's
or
okay.
burly, yeah.
No, but... And it's because like, I always knew even back then that toned wasn't exactly healthy for me.
Yeah.
Because I knew that even as an athlete, all those aesthetic looking bodies, you really have to get dehydrated. I mean, look at UFC fighters. In order for UFC fighters to get to their weight class, or even not just UFC, like in general, like if you're in some sort of fighting championship, you have to get into a certain weight class, and they would dehydrate themselves. And by the end of when they're actually at the weigh-in, they're super, super toned looking, but they did it in a very dangerous way that can really harm them. Like there have even been fights that have been called off because of dehydrating too quickly.
I didn't know that until you and James explained that to me either, like with the UFC.
Yeah, we're like,
with weight classes.
Personally,
yeah.
I do enjoy UFC. Not many people do, but we liked it. And we still do.
I gave it a fair shot.
Yeah, sure. I would sometimes take Kelly with us to see the fights. But point being is that I never really liked the toned body because I knew for me it was unhealthy, because I would only see, wow, like they're dehydrated. They're very limiting their foods. And so, and based on seeing my family in the farms, like up in New York, they were so strong, and yet they had like no toned muscle at all. But yet I've seen the things that they can lift. Like even, I love this story too. Oh my goodness, I want to tell them the Amish boy story. Sorry, I have to say this. You guys are going to love this. So in upstate New York, we actually get this chicken feed from this local Amish family. And I remember we were going over there and we were trying to order, I think it was like 6-7 bags of chicken feed, and each bag is 50 pounds. I see these two little kids, probably ranging from like 10 to 13 years old. I'm not too sure. I'm just ranging it. They come over and they're slinging 50-pound bags over their shoulders, like one at a time. And they're just throwing it into the truck, like into the bed of the truck. And they just keep doing that, like nothing. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, you know what I mean? Like these little kids who don't really look like they have toned bodies, like they're crazy strong. So whenever I go to the gym and I see like the guys like going like, like, you know what I mean? Like they're just lifting hardcore. I'm like, man, you have nothing on 10-year-old little Amish kids.
10 years old, dang. Oh my goodness.
Like, I love that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was always fun to see. So yeah, for me, in terms of what I define healthy is not so much aesthetic looking. It's more so, do you have the strength to do everyday activities? Are you eating a balance, like in moderation? I'm not expecting you to do like the macros and micros type thing, but I also wouldn't want you to eat constantly unhealthy, in which case it would cause medical problems. Like I'm not trying to fat shame or anything, but it is true. Like there are people, we even have friends and even family members that like are borderline diabetic or have diabetes or have these issues. And that's what I'm saying. Like just moderation, lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So that's for me, that's my personality. I mean, my opinion of what is healthy.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, when I think of health, when I was in the fashion industry, it was arguably the worst when it comes to like body image and mental health.
Absolutely.
Because some people are just not, because they're expecting people to look a certain way. And when it just reminds me of a lot of Asian households that with Asian people, there is a certain type of
Oh.
frame that is common.
I was actually gonna say, is that kind of like Asian celebrities and stuff? Like I often hear that like they would essentially starve themselves. Like they have very strict diets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I saw the Taylor Swift documentary too, where she was admitting that, she is naturally lean and tall and slender, and she did work out like crazy, but then she also wasn't eating. And that was something that was really tragic for me to hear, that even because I always thought she was naturally super lean, and I just didn't realize she also had issues with body image too. And just, it's just really like, it's not just Asian people too. Everybody kind of wants to be really lean and really skinny, but then it's so obvious that not everyone's bodies are built that way. And for me, it's something that I realized really early on, because for me, I get fat easier. I hold on to fat easier. And I'm also not even as lean. Even when I'm fit, I'm not really as lean because I bulk up really easily. So
yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's so much more important because life is so short. It's like, if you know what people want is so unattainable, I guess what's more important is just to love yourself and to understand that your health comes first. And I think that if I had to pick between like your body image versus your physical strength, I would say I would work towards strength, because, that's something where you have more energy. When I'm more active, I have more energy, and I sleep less, but I feel more well rested. And that's something that I'm never going to trade for like an ideal body type that's not even attainable, something that's photoshopped, something that I've been paid to Photoshop before.
Yeah, that is very true. I mean, like, whenever I hear about the whole like aesthetic looking, because we were going to talk about each of our goals, and for me, it's definitely, now that I'm no longer an athlete and I don't have to have like that type of body shape anymore, for me, it's definitely more the medical side of health. So I'm still active, but I don't aim to be aesthetically pleasing. I don't, like, I am what I am, and that is that. So for me, I'm not going to go throughout my whole workout routine, but Kelly and I typically work out like 2 to 3 times a week. Sometimes we'll do more, just depending on how we feel. And personally, in terms of eating, like, I still have ice cream, I still have my junk food, but it's definitely in moderation. Like I was saying earlier, with in general, what I kind of like in the healthier lifestyle is moderation.
Yeah, and it's hard to be in a restrictive diet type of lifestyle if you have because if your food from your culture is more like, with Puerto Rican food, a lot of it is fried.
Oh, yes.
And it's not what people consider to be healthy, but at the same time, this is your food, and this is what you choose to eat, and you're not going to sacrifice that, obviously.
Yes, absolutely.
So the way that you kind of work around it is that you want to exercise more, you want to challenge yourself, and you want to build a strong body so that it could process all that food and not have it weigh down on you. Is that...
No, that's very accurate. No, that's very accurate, because it is true. Like, if I eat something heavy, and like if I eat something heavy and then I work out or I do something the next day, I just feel like crap.
Yeah.
So what would you say is like your type of lifestyle? Like what would you like to do?
I didn't really have a routine when I started. When I started really looking at my life, I just didn't know if I was healthy or not, and I didn't know what I could do differently. But ever since quarantine happened, it really helped me get into kind of what I'm going to do every single day. And I made a schedule, and I kind of decided, okay, I'm going to be more active. I'm not overworked anymore because of quarantine, clearly. And I had that chance to really eat better, because I'm not doing a lot of outdoor, like I'm not eating out, and I'm not really doing a lot of drinking. So quarantine really helped me curb that. And it really gave me a lot of time to be more active, and it gave me a lot of room to really set these goals. And I actually saw myself achieving some of these goals, because I've set goals in the past and I've never achieved them. So this is the first time that I've ever set a health goal and achieved it.
Okay, so that's actually a good thing. I was gonna say that kind of goes into what we were saying before, that like the whole moderation, like even you would say that like that's how your current lifestyle is, that moderation, right?
And I still don't restrict types of food, and there are some days where I don't watch what I eat, and I really don't care about my choices. And
I was actually gonna say, I know I'm going off on a slight tangent here, but there there are some times when I was sick, yes, I was sick for 3 years and I weighed like nothing. I was weighing like mid 90s to upper 90s regularly for 3 years. And during that time, everyone would compliment how good looking I was and how thin I was and all this stuff. And it really frustrated me because I'm like, how do you guys not know that I am not happy right now? Like, I mean, it's not like I was depressed, but I'm like, this is not healthy. I am sick. Like, I'm legitimately sick. I like, and it's really painful, the fact that people praise me for looking good, aesthetically pleasing, even though I was stick thin. Like, what? And it was so crazy to me. And that actually happened with a lot of my Asian friends too, in particular, because you brought it up earlier, how like Asians have a certain look. That is true. A lot of my Asian friends would compliment me on how I looked. And I'm like, that's insane. Like, I'm vomiting like all the time. Like, what? This is insane. And that's why I understand what you mean by like, you know, people may look at you and say, oh, you look good, but it doesn't actually mean that you're healthy.
Yep.
Like, it's the same thing with the aesthetically pleasing toned people. Like, they might look good, but at the end of the day, they're severely dehydrated.
They're not coming home with you. They're not seeing how tired you are and how fatigued you are and how, you know, like you feel like you're not normal and you know that you're not healthy, but nobody's ever going to see that because nobody's ever going to be able to walk in your shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe that if you make health goals and if you become more active and you live a healthier lifestyle, you will look better, honestly. And when you were sick versus now, you have much better skin. Because now you're like super, super active, but you're also eating what you want. You have much better skin. You tan better.
Oh, I have a natural glow now because when I was sick, my skin was very dull, and now I have a natural glow. Well, right now I'm sweating, y'all, but
no,
that's not it. Yes, it's the glow, guys. That's what we're saying.
It's the glow. Don't give it away.
It's our secret. No, for reals. Okay, so at this point, we might as well talk about how we actually stay on track with our lifestyles, because we all know that we're all going to fall off track at some point.
Totally.
So, Kelly, how do you stay on track? Like, I know that this is still a somewhat new lifestyle for you, but how do you stay on track?
So I always like to hold myself accountable, and I just don't like to make excuses, because for every excuse that you make, you're essentially, you're setting yourself back. So I try not to say like, oh, I can't do it. It's more like, I'm not going to do it today because I don't want to. I just really want to relax.
Don't build a wall, right?
Exactly. It's like today, because if I'm working out every single day and I wasn't able to keep it up for whatever reason, I'll just be like, okay, well, you know what? Today is not the day, and I'm just gonna let myself heal. I'm probably gonna be sore anyway. I'm gonna let myself heal. I'm gonna treat myself well. I'm gonna take care of myself in a different way than to exercise.
Right.
And I'm gonna keep in mind that, you know, I'm always gonna have a chance to do something really active tomorrow, and I'm gonna look forward to it. And I'm not gonna beat myself up, because you're always going to have moments where you're not perfect, and you're always going to have moments where you can't accomplish that. Yeah.
I love that thinking. That
just
is
like
absolutely
forgive yourself for not being perfect.
Yeah, that's one thing
What
I
about
can
you?
actually, I was going to say, but that's actually something I definitely agree on, is like, you know, this is your life. It's not going to be perfect at times. So if you feel like your health style or like your healthy lifestyle is not on track, it's okay. You'll get there. The key is just like staying positive, right? If you feel, for example, you know, both of us can say that if you've gone out for barbecue or that Thanksgiving dinner or something like that,
You know.
yeah, it's like, you know. So if you're falling off track, it's like, hey, just know that it's like, hey, you can eat these things. If you want to take a vacation and not work out, like, that's fine. Just know that when you come back, just think about in your head that, hey, you have a goal in mind.
Yeah.
And stay goal oriented, like stay focused on that goal. So I guess we might as well talk about like our tips, right, on how we get into this, or. So I guess my first one will be to listen to your body.
Yeah.
So if your body is craving something sugary, and you want ice cream, for example, like have ice cream, or you can also say, I want something sugary, so let me have fruit. It's completely up to you, but definitely listen to your body. And the reason why is because I've seen all too many times, especially with some of my close friends, they'll start starving themselves. They'll really start limiting their foods and like thinking that they're on that healthy diet. So they heavily restrict the things that they eat to the point where they get so unhappy, and then they fall right off track, and then they start binge eating like a whole bunch of junk food. Like, for example, say you're craving an Oreo cookie at one time. Once again, I'm not an expert, but this is from my own experiences with being sick and things that I've personally learned. So going back, if you want an Oreo cookie,
Always and forever.
have that Oreo cookie. Have the 1 or 2. Don't eat the entire sleeve of Oreo cookies though, but have that 1, 2, 3, whatever. But the reason why is because it's going to stay in the back of your head like, oh, I really want to eat something sweet. I really want to eat something sweet. I really want to eat something sweet. And then at the end of the day, what's going to happen? Personally, it's happened to me, where you just end up eating a whole bunch of junk food that's sweet. You end up eating like a whole thing of ice cream with a bunch of Oreo cookies inside, or like you have a bunch of cereal and you just go into that craving, and then you overeat. And then you got to listen to your body. Your body knows what it wants. That's why oftentimes, like, even though you're like, oh, I really want junk food, is your body really asking you to eat junk food? Is it really? Or is it because it just wants something else? Like, is it because it wants carbs, so it wants to have pasta? Or are you, do you want to eat something light because you had something heavier like chili during the day, or some hearty
something
meal?
really important that, like, I actually didn't understand this until just now when you explained it. It's that your body has urges based on like what it actually needs,
Yes,
but
it does.
you have to like respond to it in like a reasonable way.
Yes, it is. Like,
Yeah.
I guess we've been saying it this entire time, but moderation. So yeah, if you're like, that's the number one tip, is listen to your body. Your body is amazing computer system, if you will. And if your body is telling you something, just listen. Okay. So I guess let me go into my second thing, is about the whole eating out. Like, so if you're eating out, don't be ashamed of things you order. So I'll give you a quick example. I wanted to stay healthy. I want to stay focused. So there are sometimes when I've gone out to eat, I would order a salad, or I would order not even just a salad. Like, maybe I would order fajitas, but I won't use sour cream, and I would request yogurt instead. So by the way, using yogurt instead of sour cream is amazing.
You promised it's the same thing? You promised?
Yeah, I promise it's the same thing.
Okay.
It tastes really good, but you have to use plain yogurt, like non-flavored yogurt.
Okay.
But I swear it tastes just like sour cream.
As long as you
and
promise.
it's a healthier option. But anyways, that's besides the point.
Because I'm gonna try it, and if it's not the same, I'm coming after you.
Oh my goodness.
But I'm gonna try it.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna go into a quick story and why I'm saying, like, don't feel ashamed about your goals and staying focused. Yeah. Because I remember when I first went to college, I was going on a college tour actually, and I was meeting one of the coaches, and the coaches had taken me out to lunch at this one restaurant with my dad. And during that time, I think it was like a Philly cheesesteak. I rewarded myself, so I had a Philly cheesesteak. I really wanted one. And then later on in the afternoon, I met the rest of my future teammates, and we had gone out to dinner at the same exact restaurant. Well, once again, I listened to my body, and my body was saying, I don't want to eat anything heavy because I just ate something heavy for lunch. So I figured I'd order a small side salad. And I remember my future teammates were completely judging me, especially the guys that were judging me, saying, oh, of course, like, it's so typical of a skinny girl to order a salad. And it's like, no, like, that's not why. And I felt super ashamed. And I said, no, it's because I ate a Philly cheesesteak and stuff. And that's why I wanted something light. And then as I got older and I remember that story, I'm like, why should I even explain myself?
Yeah.
If I want to eat something light, I can eat something light. If I want to eat, like, stay goal oriented, I can stay goal oriented. Same thing. I've seen coworkers that they will only bring their Tupperware food, whether they're because they're saving money or because they're trying to stay healthy, but that is their goal. And you shouldn't shame people for it, and you shouldn't feel ashamed for that. So that was a really good tip. Yeah. That I had to grow. It wasn't something that just happened overnight. It was something that I had to learn over the course of a few years. And then the third tip I would give is find like-minded people. You know how I was just saying that, you shouldn't feel ashamed and no one should shame you for it. Well, I started learning that I want to be with like-minded people. If I want to stay goal-oriented with having a healthy lifestyle and eating right, or, if I'm at a restaurant and I'm suddenly craving buffalo wings, but I know I shouldn't have it, I would want to have that one friend with me that says, Amy, I know you don't want to eat this. Like, as much as you want to eat it, you shouldn't. that's what I'm saying, is that I wanted someone like-minded and keep those like-minded people around me. And that's what I did. Like, Kelly will sometimes keep me in check, and I will keep her in check. And like, even today, we're not going to go through it, but even today she kept me in check. Okay, so I guess, Kelly, what are your tips on what you do?
So my 3 tips. The first tip that helps me a lot personally is to hydrate. And guess what?
Yes.
It's free. It's free to drink water. You really don't have to do anything fancy to it. You can have it sparkling. You can put water. I mean, you can put fruits in it. Obviously, I love tea, so it's easy for me to stay hydrated. And it doesn't have to be caffeinated. It could be decaf. That way you can get more hydration.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah, you can do cold tea, hot tea.
That's a really good point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Staying
And-
hydrated is insanely important. Like,
Yeah.
I would have honestly said that as a tip too, but yeah.
Yeah. For me, I always struggled with fatigue up until now. I feel so free. But like back when I struggled with overworking and fatigue, what helped me even a little bit was just by hydrating myself. And it doesn't necessarily like curb your hunger to a point where you could skip a meal, because I would never do that. But it just prevents me from overeating. That's one of the easiest things that prevents me from overeating. And also it's one of the easiest things that really keeps me feeling satisfied and also more energetic and less fatigued.
Yes.
So that's very important. And you definitely need to stay hydrated no matter what.
Yeah, you don't want an IV drip.
I mean, I really liked it. I really liked it, but I didn't want to need it.
Well,
didn't
please
want to
don't
need
get to
it.
that point of dehydration where you need an IV drip.
But you know, now it's kind of like a fad where people are, there's a lot of places in New York, it has to be a med spa, but they do an IV drip for you.
Oh,
and
yeah, like the vitamins. I heard about
Mhm.
that.
But you can
Yes,
just
I
eat a
heard
vitamin.
some celebrities
Yeah.
do that too. Like the vitamin drips and stuff and all that.
And like you
I wonder
instantly
how
feel
true
better.
it is.
The reason why, like for me, I felt this personally when I was super sick in Japan and they gave me that IV drip. It felt like the hand of Jesus just caressing me and just telling me it's gonna be okay. Everybody
Oh my
loves you,
goodness.
Kelly. You're gonna be all right. And I felt like it was like an out of body experience. And the big part of why I liked it was because it really hydrated me, and I was throwing up all day, and it's just the
Oh.
water. It's the water that makes you feel better.
That is not right.
I know, it ain't right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's insane. All right, so I guess what would your second tip be instead of hydration?
Having a schedule, and it doesn't have to be like down to the hour. It could be something loose. Like today I'm going to work out this part of my body, or today I'm going to relax and do self-care. And even though it doesn't really do anything for your
Would that be like a habit, like trying to develop a habit?
Yeah.
You're trying to say?
having a habit,
Because that is
something
very,
important.
that's, yeah, I was going to say that's actually really good.
Mhm.
Like the routine and having a habit. Yes. Yes, 100%.
Because
Yeah.
if you're constantly taking care of yourself, and whether it's working out, being active, drinking water, or just like loving yourself,
Mhm.
loving your body, treating it right, getting a massage. Well, maybe a little later after all this craziness is over.
Yeah, not now.
But having a routine is really helpful, because when you put everything in your life, whether it's big or small, when you have that routine going, it really helps you know when it's time to
Right.
work out, when it's time to rest, when it's time to eat and reward yourself. And you're always going to have that internal clock, if you will.
No, that's actually very, very
Mhm.
smart, because it is true when you develop a habit, and a lot of even fitness trainers will say try and develop a habit, because once you get into the habit, it's hard to break away. It's hard to create a habit, but it's also hard to break away from a habit once
Mhm.
it's started, and that's actually really good advice.
And I think for me, the best way for me to kind of break out of that really unhealthy lifestyle was to create a new one. And that takes a lot of routine. That takes a lot of repetition. And
See,
in
that's
order to
very
do
wise.
that,
See, these are. Oh, actually, no. Before I speak,
Yeah.
what would be your third tip then?
the last tip, I guess it would just be to remember that you always are making a choice. So even if all of your girls are saying, we're going to go to brunch at Applebee's. I can't imagine why, but like, let's say we're going to brunch at
That is so true.
Let's say we're going to brunch at Applebee's. And you know that I don't want to eat Applebee's. I want something that's healthier. So you don't want to just give up and be like, well, I guess we're just going to have an
Yeah.
unhealthy brunch, because these people want to take me to Applebee's. No, like you pick something. You always have a choice. Like you always have a menu of items and you pick the healthiest one.
Yes.
Or you pick something that you really want to eat. Like even if you want to eat McDonald's, which we do, even if you do that, just make sure you're not like overburdening yourself.
Right.
I guess you're not stuffing yourself. You're eating within moderation, like we've been saying this whole time.
I mean, it's true though, but
just remember
Yeah,
you always
no.
have a choice. Yeah.
yeah, choices are definitely important. Like,
Mhm.
like actually, that's kind of like what we were both saying earlier.
Mhm.
That like choices are very important, and you shouldn't be ashamed of your choices. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, whether you want to eat junk food and you want to have that, like, go for it. We absolutely do all the time. We love ice cream.
But you know, on the other hand, on the flip side of that, you still need to understand that sometimes, like, you still need to understand yourself and be honest with yourself. Like, if I keep ice cream in my house, is it going to be gone by 12 a.m.? And if the answer is yes, if you can truly say that, okay, if I buy ice cream in the morning, I'm going to eat the whole thing by the afternoon, then you can also make a choice to not fill your fridge with ice cream. You can save it for special
yes.
occasions. Yeah.
Yes, that is very true.
So that's
because
also a choice.
It's like when you're going
Mhm.
shopping, yeah, like shopping choices, yeah.
Because now your parents aren't shopping. Now, hopefully, you're shopping for your own groceries. So you need to understand, like, okay, which food do I think is going to fulfill me in a healthy way? What food is
Yes.
going to keep me on track to my goals?
Mhm.
And which food is something that I can reward myself with? And which foods should I just not keep within reach?
Oh, that's what so I guess at this point we can actually now transition to understanding how, like, as a child, you know, parents make choices for us.
Mhm.
Whereas an adult, we've now understood that we have to make wiser choices for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially, you know, like, I know that we can die at any moment, like an accident or whatever, but if we really want to have a long life in terms of health-wise, as an adult, you have to make your own choices,
Mhm.
and you have to live with those choices, because those choices have good or bad consequences. And I don't know if I can, is there such thing as good consequences?
The good consequence would be that you reach your goal.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah.
Or
yeah,
you stay
it's-
on
at
track.
the end of the day, it's your choices will have either good or bad consequences.
And ultimately, it's up to you.
Yeah, this is.
But it's also not something that's that serious. A lot of people say that you need to have a really strict workout regimen, but in reality, and a lot of experts are going to say the same thing, in reality, your body's not going to know when you miss a workout, and your body's not going to understand that, like, oh, I worked out 4 days and the next week I only worked out 3 days. It's not going to
Yeah.
just automatically shut down and you lose all your gains. That's not how it works,
Yeah,
right?
it really is. No,
It
it's
better not be, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
yes, that is very true. So
So your body can forgive itself for not working out for 1 day. So you should be able to also forgive yourself.
yes, like, it's definitely good to have a habit, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it is true. Like, if you're gonna fall off track, which it's gonna happen, we do
Mhm.
all the time. It's fine.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be
Uh,
preventing it. You shouldn't be preventing it. You should be planning for when it happens.
Yes,
And
definitely
what to
planning
do
for
when
it.
it happens.
And, like, say you didn't plan for it. Say, like, your friends invited you out somewhere, you know.
Applebee's. Sorry.
Yeah, your friends invited you out for
I'm still mad
Applebee's.
about that.
And, like, as much as you don't want to eat there, you haven't seen these set of friends for a long time. And so you say, okay, whatever, I'll just, you know, I'll just have this meal and be done with it, because I want to be more with my friends, or I want to be with my family members
Yeah.
during this time. Like, that's fine. That's totally okay. It doesn't mean the next day you have to starve yourself either.
Yep.
Just go back into your regular habit and routine.
Mhm.
Your body will understand. Like I said, your body's a computer system. Listen to it. I love how I did that just now. Okay,
It's
anyways.
so cute. So thank you guys so much. I hope that we answered some of your questions that you might have about health and lifestyle and fitness.
Yes.
And let us know what your tips are for staying on track and what you define as being healthy. And you can add to the discussion below.
Yes, of course. We would actually love to hear that. And I'm definitely open for any suggestions that you guys have for us. I'm always willing to try new workouts and stuff like that. I'm not one to say, like what we were saying before, like the debates, like, oh, HIIT's better, or like, you know, powerlifting's better. Like, No, like if you want us to try something out, we absolutely will.
Yeah, and health experts, tell us how we did. Tell us, rate our tips. Have some tea and talking with us.
Yeah,
continue
feel free
the
to join us on
conversation.
Tea and Talking.
Absolutely, we would love that. Actually,
Yeah, we really would
that would
love
be
that.
great.
So anyways, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Bye now.
Thank you. Bye. We never touched a single one of these, so you know what? That's good, right?
They got stale.
Hmm?
They got slightly stale. I think it's the humidity.
It's been 2 seconds.
More like an hour.
Oh my god, they are.